It's time for another Paisen review. Last time I reviewed a whole series was like almost 3 years ago, like back in 2018. So yeah, I think it's been long enough. Yeah, I did some chapter reviews, like some Undead Unluck and Eden Zero, and did a volume review, but those don't really count. I'm talking about just like as a whole series, as a whole. So that's what this is gonna be finally after so long. I will be reviewing Candy Flurry by Ippon Takeguchi as the writer and Senta Mitarashi as the artist. Keep in mind that this duo's first ever series being serialized, so they must have felt like a great pressure during the whole series' run. But I will still justly talk about why this is probably the worst manga this year I've read. Yeah, starting off on a pretty harsh note, but I'll explain why. During the summer, I made an impressions of the first half of this manga, so like the first 10 chapters, and I'll be piggybacking mostly off of what I said there. So if you haven't seen that and you want to go back and see it, if you want, then that's fine. I'll link it in the top corner there of the video. So now to start with the review. I'll first give like a quick rundown of the premise and story. So, 5 years prior to the start of the series, Tokyo was decimated by someone who could manipulate giant lollipops, and with those lollipops, this person destroyed Tokyo and rendered it uninhabitable. This caused an organization called the Reset to be formed to hunt down people like him, and to hunt down. They call them sweets users, people who have candy powers, and are able to manipulate, summon, create, and weaponize these candies to cause crime and terror. Um, the origin of these candies was a company that distributed special candies to some sweet shops and candy shops. And when people ate these candies, they gained these powers. Our main character Samugi, she was one of those people. She got the ability, like you see here in the spread, to summon lollipops. It's basically her favorite candy. Um, But she wasn't the one that caused the destruction. Apparently, there's, according to her, two people that are lollipop users, and she's trying to find um, the person responsible for that, the actual lollipop user, so she could stop being in hiding and living in fear of being caught by the reset and all that. So that's pretty much the premise. That's all the basis of her entire character, by the way. Not that much of a long series, so it makes sense. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just start with my reviewing each chunk. So the story that I just said, it is terribly executed. So basically, this is only 19 chapters. Like in my impressions video of the first 10 chapters, I had said that this story just didn't feel that interesting. It felt very generic, like not much substance to it. The premise, like the concept of the candy power sounds very cool. I actually think it sounds intriguing. That's like one of the only redeeming features of this manga. It's the candy powers. I wanted to know more about that, show more people with those powers. I want to see how it's used. But no, it wasted its time with the story being having way too many like dumb one-liners and jokes added into it, and the characters in the stories just did not have any substance. Like they were so plain and dull. Um, like Samugi, obnoxious, completely obnoxious. Like I'm all for female main characters, but this is not a great way to go about it. There's just nothing interesting about her. Her whole character is just, it's like being mean to the main male character Misaki, which by the way is absolutely useless, which is something that really bothers me too. Um, but I'll get to him in a bit. She just like all she does is either mess with him or make some dumb one-liner joke, or just goes on about blah 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 lollipop user this and that. This story, halfway through it, just drops the main villain, the lollipop user. You would expect that it would have been done so much more later. But no, halfway through the story, oh, here he is, him and his gang. They're here. The lollipop user caused the devastation, and it seems like they're actually gonna go confront the characters. Okay. I hope that this is just like a just him testing them out and just like leaving and wanting to see what the whole deal is about with this girl that just popped up. But no, like a bunch of these things in the story just don't add up, and just like I said, don't have any substance. First, it's she meets Misaki, um the guy with the giant fork. Yeah, the people in the reset use giant utensils to fight the candy users, which looks a bit tacky, but I guess kind of looks cool at the same time. Misaki uses a giant fork, so she meets him. He goes after her. She somehow convinces him a little that she isn't the lollipop user that they're looking for. So they team up. They meet up with um, Idia Senpai, which is one of the top five, I think it was, one of the strongest five of the reset. They face her. She uses ice cream powers. Um, she knew that she had been telling the truth, but she just wanted to test her will, to see if she does pass. Okay, she's with them too. Now she has to join the reset, of course. And of course, how do they go about this? With the usual our very lovable shonen trope, uh tournament or test arc, where they have to do some kind of initial test to be able to get into whatever, thing or exam arc. So yeah, she has to do some kind of exam work where she has to face other people, a bunch of other examinees, to enter the reset. Oh, but it got interrupted by one of the people in that guy's organization, a guy that uses popcorn that they pop like grenades. Kind of cool. Um, oh, but apparently they have these drug enhancing things that when you pop them in, they enhance your candy powers, and they showed that off by him using it, and it gradually increased the firepower of his popcorn. Um, he gets away, and her she gets in. She gets into the reset. EDS said it's fine, whatever. Like the panel here, I'll show you. Oh my goodness, like it just gets her in. Like there's no suspension, no nothing. It's just take the test, little drama, little fight. Oh, you're in. Oh, cool. Okay. Like that's pretty much just how the story goes. Like it's just so nonchalant like that. Like it delivers everything so one linery. I know I keep saying that, but that's just what it feels like. It feels like everybody just it's like a one note, like a single lined person. Like they just say point A, point B, blah blah blah. Here's a joke. Okay, cool. That's just what it sounds like to me. It feels so like elementary, such elementary writing. So EDA, she uses ice cream. Okay, she's apparently one of the strongest. I mean that's cool, but nothing is really done with her. There's um There's the chief's son. He was apparently a major character. The chief's son of the reset. A scaredy cat likes EDA. Doesn't really go anywhere either. Okay, so why keep in? This introduces so many characters, but just doesn't do anything with them whatsoever. They're just there. They're just there to talk a little bit to the main character Sumugi, and that's it. Same thing with the main male character. He's just literally there as comic relief for the main character. Everyone is fodder for the main character. Um, then the reset guys come into clash with the lollipop user in question and his gang, because for some reason they attacked the school. Yeah, they did actually go in and attack them. So so his goons fight Irie and Sumugi. Irie is overwhelmed, but then she pops in one of those drugs, which they don't really explain much. They're just there, I guess, to help the characters win. Um, and boom, there you go. They get defeated. Oh, but then the main villain comes and he saves his pals. He gives some random backstory of how they came to be there. Oh, they're actually experimented on. Okay, little late to be putting this kind of thing in as a story, don't you think? Seeming how long this was gonna end up being. Um, th- if you notice, like by the way I'm describing this, it's only 19 chapters, and I'm saying all of this is happening. And yeah, that's because the pacing of this is so violently fast. It's so terrible, the pacing. And it reflects in the art too. I haven't talked about the art. The art is okay, but if you look at the way that the guy does the paneling, Santa, it just it reflects the fast pacing he's trying to match up with the writer. So I think they need to be able to work a bit better together to better the paneling to better reflect a better pace. But that's what I'll say about the art. I'm not that much of a fan of the character designs either. The faces just all feel too samey. Um, but what was I? Okay, so yeah, the main guy gives a backstory of them being experimented on. That's how he wants revenge, I guess, and to teach the world a lesson. He wants to cause destruction. Okay, then he faces against a real lollipop user, Samugi, and they face off a bit. And this is where this is like the last 3 or 4 chapters. Then out of nowhere, this wasn't stated whatsoever, but this is a final battle already. But bam, um, she just manipulates her lollipop and transforms it into a mech. Yeah, giant candy mech. I don't know how that happened. It didn't explain. She just gave a quick explanation. Oh, I can just imagine me being able to transform this candy into whatever I want. I can because I can. You hear me? I can do this. And the guy's like, "What? That makes no sense." And she just transforms into a candy mech, punches the guy, um, and he's defeated. Cool. Okay, now we have a time skip. Okay, like the last chapter, we're in the last chapter, and she is she's a captain of the reset. Okay, and she tells a little girl that, yeah, I want to tell everybody just like her that lollipops and candy are great and that they shouldn't be something to be feared. The end. Okay, so now that I've pretty much told you how those 19 chapters go, you notice that I threw in a bunch of like things that could have been explored upon. Like there's the candy um that enhances your abilities. That isn't really explored much. The candies themselves, that isn't really explored much. They're kind of expanded upon in the guy's random backstory, the main villain's random backstory. But that's about it. You have the other characters like Edie, one of the top dogs. She's barely explored upon. You have the chief son of the reset. He's barely explored upon. The main male character. He's just comic relief and isn't taken seriously whatsoever. Just a stomping rock for the main female character, Samugi. Samugi, obnoxious, very obnoxious. Um, the story, very very fast paced. Way too fast paced, extremely violently fast paced, and it's just terrible. The paneling needs some is awful. The art is just okay. I'm not that big of a fan of it. The story is average. It's not interesting at all. What else can I keep saying? I know I'm wrapping up this review with like my overall thoughts. Overall, the only thing I would literally say that is good about this are the candy powers. I wanted to know it had potential. This had potential. But because of those candy powers, I just wanted to see more of those candy powers. But oh man, this duo fumbled the ball big time on this one. I know I'm being rather harsh with my thoughts on this because, like I said at the beginning, this is this duo's first series being serialized. But the reason why I'm being this harsh is because I want to express why I feel this way about this manga, because I want this duo to reflect on this, and it seems like they have. When it finished, they said they hope people enjoyed it, and I hope people look forward to their next work. So it seems like they're not being discouraged, which is a great thing. So I want them to take that great confidence in themselves. Like I'm glad that they seem like they don't want to not do this anymore. Like I'm cheering them on. I want them to try again, and it seems like they are. So I wish them luck on their next series, and I hope that they reflect upon how this first series went. I hope they take some of the criticism. Don't know if they will. And like I said, I wish them luck on their next work. But Candy Flurry, terrible. It is a completely terrible manga. Um, sure, there were many that enjoyed it. Of course, if you enjoyed reading this, all the power to you. I remember in my impressions video, there were some that just weren't. There was one person that wasn't really happy with what I was saying in the video. Um, it is what it is. Like, there are people that like it, there are people that don't. I certainly didn't. I'll give this a 3 out of 10. I don't think I've really rated something this low before. I think the only other thing I read that was this bad was I think it's called Netsuo Trap. Don't look it up. But anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts on this very short, unfortunate acts manga of 2021, Candy Flurry. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what your thoughts on it are. Do you oppose everything that I was saying and think the complete opposite, or do you agree? Let me know. I want to know. And tell me in the comments if you like this. Subscribe. I'll really appreciate it. And I'll see you on my next review, which I think will be Boarding School Juliet. I hope you all will be looking forward to that one. Thanks for tuning into my nonsense, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.